Alright, that should be good. That should be it. And now I am going to grab my stylus here if I can. Of course, it has to fall right behind my keyboard right as we start, but that's alright. So I've just got this going. I have a little sketch of my outlines here. I've got things separated here for the head of the dude, or for the body and stuff of the dude here. Did the king or the wise man yesterday. And then now I'm working on the camel itself. There's no shading in here yet, just doing some outlining or some, you know, basic coloring and stuff like that. So next thing to do, I believe, will be to draw out my body shape. So I'm just adding another layer. I'm going to call this body. And it may be more than one part, but I don't think so. I'm going to make it go below the neck. And yeah, we're just going to map it out here with some points here. And I'm going to go below here because there's like sort of weird chest thing happening. I'm going to draw right through all of these things that are actually going to be kind of more of a part of the saddle. I come up like this. There's going to be a blanket and stuff on there, so I'm not horribly worried. There's no hump we're actually going to see, but I'm going to kind of, I don't know, stick one maybe out about the part that where it goes. But anyway, this has to, or should, come down like it would if it was really there. It doesn't have to, because we're not going to see it. No one's going to know if it does or not. But let's just, you know, stick with what makes sense. We're never going to see any of this because the saddle and the blanket will be over it. So with that, let's adjust some things. Obviously, this little ding-a-ling part needs to be more correct. You can't mess that up. I'm just going to make sure these are aligned a bit better. I think that's working. Obviously, we accidentally left a break in the line here, so I'm just going to attach that. Okay, so now we can add another point or move a couple points around here and there. If they're hard to see, too bad. No, I mean, I apologize. I'm just going to put these sort of a generic place just where they make sense to some degree. The tail I'll worry about shortly, and let's go ahead now and get that colored in. So I'm just going to leave, probably going to go with a line width of 1.5. I think that's what I have on my others. I think this is selected. We'll find out. Yes, it is. And the fill, of course, is going to be sampled from the main drawing. So I'm going to move my stuff around. Give me 1 second. I'm going to actually swap my screen because I'm not going to be doing any drawing. I'm going to swap my screen real quick here. Display capture is going to be the other, so you're going to get a taste of my OBS there, my old BS. I'm going to drag, let me just cancel this coloring. I'm going to drag Moho over there real quick so we can work from here. Then I'll drag the OBS back over to the other screen because, you know, then this isn't annoying at all, I realize. So let me just fix that. I should have had this set up before, but I forgot that we're going to be mostly on my bigger screen. Okay, so this works. Let's just get going here some more. I'm just going to select the stream to see viewers and stuff. Feel free to chat and all of that if you would like. And we're not streaming anyway. Again, I don't think it's working. There it is. Okay, now we're going. Sorry about that. Okay, so I just swapped my screens out, and now I can, because the other one won't let me sample color for some reason, so we're going to select this color, and now we have that one for the body. The body is going to be, I believe, yes, above the neck. So it's just going to make some sense here. Finally, and let's get a couple of details. On the neck, I did not go back and put certain things on there. So I'm just going to do this with our, what do you call it? Well, on the same layer. This will just be a little rope strap here, and I'll go back and adjust that to where it looks better and sits on the right places. So this is all mouse. I'm not doing anything, what was I going to say, with the pen, the stylus, etc. And if you want to reset a curve, select the point and go Control M, and it should flatten out. Control P flattens it out. If it isn't, Control M will make it a mound. So Control P or M is fine, but most of the time that works. I think I've just got something whacked out a little bit here. Why do I have such a large... Oh, that's the nick handle. Okay, so that's fine. Any of these, though, typically, you can just go Control M, and it should flatten those out if they aren't. I mean, these are kind of having some issues, but I lie, you know, apparently. So Control P will peak those corners. Let's just make sure we have only that one. But Control M makes it round again. We're going to leave them round, but I'm going to move them in and redo their curvature so they're a little less weird, like this one. Might be able to Control M reset that one, but I guess not. Let's just use the curve handles then for it. And that will be fine. You can move around however you want, obviously, just to get that a little more even. And then with that, I'm going to sample our brown color up here. After we select that, yes, we want the fill. And then we sample the color. You can't select the fill before you've selected to have fill or not. Please chat if you like. I'm going to say, hey guys, what's up? And that way you can see that that will work there. I'm going to put the dude on top of everything because he's going to be on top of the camel, but he's going to be on top of that saddle as well. And we'll get to the blanket and stuff here shortly. I just wanted to get the body on there right now. And now we need some legs. So I think with this body, that's the head and neck stuff. I'm going to go with the jaw and all of this and make a little group for those. We're going to call this head. Very original name. And close that up just to make this a nicer arrangement. So the body is there above the neck, which is correct. And now below the body, or, you know, anywhere you want, but definitely probably below the body, so above the neck for now. I'm just going to make another layer called this leg right front. And we're going to just draw this front leg here. It looks like a pack of camels. For those of you kids who don't know what camels are, they're these animals like this with the hump on their back. All right, so let's just go ahead and make our leg. I'm trying to leave some extra points at the knee so that that bend can happen without too many problems. We're going to use some smart bones in there anyway, but we really do want to give it the flexibility it can have by adding extra points to allow for that. It's basically the resolution of the mesh you're controlling by adding or taking away points. You know, its ability to move and do all that. Low resolution makes it clunky, blocky, and not work as well for sure. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and now change these curves a bit. Just going to try and get those to, you know, kind of line up where they're supposed to be a bit better. Obviously, this one is a little out, so I'm just going to see if I can Control M reset it. Yep. and then adjust its curves mildly better. I think that's okay. So I also need to make sure I go in and change the curvature, or the line thickness, I'm sorry. Let's pull this up to where we get a nice thickness there. We're down with the thickness. I don't know how many times that joke has been said and fallen flat every time. Alright, cool. We're going to kind of get these on the center of that line. It just helps it feel a little more neatly put together. Might want to tighten that curve up slightly here. There we go. I mean, it's not perfect. It won't be perfect. It's made from a sketch, so, you know, it's going to have handwritten or handmade all over it. But that's kind of what we want. I don't want this to look like a robotic piece of garbage. Okay, so not that things that robots make are garbage, but you know what I mean. I gotta say that for the future. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and say that it has a fill, and then let's make that fill the same as the one who lives next door to me. There's nobody named Phil that lives next door to me, but there we go. Put this right on top of the body for now, and then I can go ahead and hide these lines that make this obviously like a cutout. Go back to the body, and you can see how that nicely blends in. We'll worry about shading later, though. So if you guys are watching, say hey, like, subscribe, follow, and all that good junk. And let's grab another layer here and call this leg right rear. And now we're going to do this back leg on the right side. And when you say right and left in screen terms like this, I am talking about the characters right and left, and not the right and left of the screen. Even though I just said something like that. Of the screen. It's not of the screen. It's the characters right and left. So that curve will be set a little better. I'm trying to kind of click the center of the line to a degree. More toward the ankle or the knee to give it that resolution to move enough. These aren't going to be moving a lot, but you know, you want to make sure that it does enough. So now I'm just going to wrap this around to complete the shape. Okay, go to my curvature and start adjusting some of this stuff. Let's get this one sort of up and round. This allows, you know, I do these so when we move the leg, you know, that roundness can kind of hide any gaps that may be there, especially if it's on a limb, like where an arm meets a wrist or a wrist meets a hand or something like that. And let's go ahead and adjust these a bit. Anybody see that new Welcome to Derry show? That's pretty creepy. I love it. I like it when they kind of go there, you know, instead of holding back. It's much better when they just, I mean, you're watching horror. It's supposed to be horrific. It's supposed to be. That's what I say. This one, let's just make it a Control P. I probably will round it out a little bit. When I say make it a Control P, that means don't get any on the seat. Alright, so now we're going to move these a little bit better. And then this one can be just slightly less curved to have a little bit more of a, yeah, a sharper angle right there. This one maybe too slightly. Alright, cool. Let's just make that one a little bit sharper. I've got some nice warm coffee here. No, I don't. Darn it.
It's in there.
So let's just fix that. I was daydreaming again. Alright, so with this, let's go fill it, and then we'll, for our fill color, we'll just sample from the body again. Once again, we're just going to go in with our hide lines tool, or hide edges tool, and just hide these edges. Not that we need to on this one, but see here, we did need to, so that can kind of be what it is and needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and take the curve out of that one a bit. If we need to add in another line, we can. I don't really think we need to, but we're going to adjust the curves to be a little more round like this. And that is the end of that leg. So with that, let's go ahead and add another new layer here. And that one is going to be left leg, left, rear. And now we're going to add its lovely points. Just going to kind of wrap this around until it makes some sense. I don't know exactly. And you know what I'm going to do? You already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete those, and I'm going to duplicate this other leg so it does have all these points at the top. And we're going to, okay, left rear, we don't need this one anymore. I'm going to just delete that. We're going to take this one, and I'm going to duplicate it. So this is going to be left rear, an L, and then get rid of the 2. It's not necessary. Cool. And now with this one, we're just going to move it into place layer-wise. We're going to want to put the origin of it about where the hip is. And then we're going to move it over, making sure it's below the right leg. And then I'm going to start positioning points. And this just helps it be the same, but also quickly draw most of those points again. See, so now I can just drag the rest of them over about where they go. And we are already halfway home. Save some time. And sometimes just mere moments add up later. Not even sometimes, all the time. It's like if you spent $50 a month, that's more than $50 by the end of the year. So, are you gonna make that coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna just pull this down, and then we're gonna move the rest of these points now, just to get them right where they need to be. And it kept me from having to redraw the entire leg and so on and so forth and getting it right. Plus, this part that was not seen when it swings that leg forward, which in animation it will, we'll see that front on this leg just like we do on this one, which is the 99% reason why I did that, just so it's not an issue later. In fact, I'm going to pull these points a little bit forward because I know they should be. Matter of fact, they're coming from the same spot right about here. So I'm going to maybe twist them slightly and then move them to where they all line up like that. Cool. And then any other tweaks we need to make, we can just grab a point or whatever and do that. Cool. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the front leg. So I'm just going to duplicate it, move it behind the other one, and call it left front. Space or no space, it's up to you. We're going to change the origin point like we did before. Grab the layer, rotate it, kind of move it similarly, about-ish here, I guess. And then start tweaking the points to be where they should be for this guy. Obviously, they're not going to be exact leg to leg just because it was drawn, not exact leg to leg, but this will get us, you know, close enough to work. You can drag multiple points around like so. Just get stuff moved and then rotated, moved and rotated. So we do this. We can do singles like we've been doing. We can also grab the bottom foot here, twist and turn it in any way we need, like this. Stick it there. Get these minimized a bit. You get the idea. I think I drew that one without as much character for sure. And then once these are set, then we can move on. But one thing you should be thinking about when you're doing this kind of stuff is how can I make this faster so that I can spend less time on the boring stuff and more time on the fun stuff and, you know, stuff and stuff and stuff. All right, so this one also should be below the body, as should the left leg here, because we want those to not interfere with the chest or anything else they may be coming into contact with. And then what's left is the tail, some shading. So let's go ahead and throw the tail on there. This one I'm going to put above the body. I call it tail. And then I'm going to just make a kind of a rounded turdy-like shape. For any of y'all who know that scientific term. And let's just get this here. I'm going to grab the points and maybe shift them in just slightly. I don't want it to be too narrow, but also, you know. All right. With that, I can grab this dude. We can go ahead and set the fill, and then we can say use the body fill. We can once again hide any extra lines that we need, and it should work pretty good. And this is going to be very dark, so I'm not even worried about, you know, anything standing out or being seen too badly, you know, like extra lines and stuff. And then, of course, we need to move on to the saddle stuff. So I'm only going to take this blanket here just up under as far as we need. It doesn't need to actually sit there. The camel's not going to be more or less comfortable, right? Because it's a cartoon. But you understand what I mean. I'm now going to take... I don't think these need to be grouped yet. Or at all, for that matter. I'm going to go ahead, though, and make a... what do we call this? The saddle group, probably. I'm going to put that beneath the king. Whoops, not in there. Beneath him, but above the head of the this dude. So that doesn't interact, and it's not in the king guy's group. And we're just going to start working on the blanket here first. Now we could put a pattern on that. We can put, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just sort of, you know, mostly follow this. And then we can cut across because it doesn't matter. And one or two of these here, boom, and then come back in and peek those corners out. This one doesn't have to be as sharp. And then this one should probably be, well, that's not going to matter a lot because it's going to be hidden. And this one's the same, but it's going to keep us from getting a weird wonky curve at the end. So now we're going to have this. We're going to need to select a color for it. No idea. I'm seeing, I think he needs to be mostly greens and grays. So let's turn this on. I think I'm going to go with kind of a, maybe a greenish yellowish, you know, type of a blanket that's under there. We're never going to know, but I want him to say, okay, this is his camel. We know that. Looks like his. Let's make another one here. This is just going to be a layer within the same, I believe. We might break this up later, depending on how it needs to move, but I think it'll be all right. And I'm just going to make the outlines of the main blanket here. And these can be sort of rounded or whatever. They're kind of like tassels, but more like raggedy ends or whatever, so not really trying to make this like a tassel situation. Okay, and in fact, I think that one can come back a little farther, and then I'm going to make the blanket kind of go, it's going to go under his foot, obviously. We're never going to see any of this or what happens here. We're just going to go like so. In fact, this last blanket, I just remembered, needs to have its stroke lifted to 1.5. We'll do the same thing with this guy. Seeing this one, I don't know. It's going to have a pattern because I did draw that on it. So Let's go ahead and fill that in. This one's going to be a more grayer green. Grayer green, like this, I think is good, because this way it kind of looks broken up. We're going to put that big thing in the middle of it, so the actual saddle portion. If we want, we could put a stroke line kind of around here, kind of breaking up this border. I'm going to leave that not connected for now. I'm going to connect these two though. I think that's fine. We could connect this one. It's not going to hurt anything. If it does not connect, we can always go back, grab it, and make it auto weld, because sometimes, just like right now, it doesn't until you make it. If you're watching, say hello. Okay, so now I should probably clean up some of these edges just slightly. Just going to try and make that a little more parallel. It doesn't matter a whole lot once this gets under here, because this is all going to be covered, but I don't want it to be too wonky. It is kind of a more organic kind of thing, because it's the blanket and not the like leather or the saddle or something. But okay, I think that's okay. Let's go ahead now, if we wanted to, and throw another layer of like stripes. You could even leave it in the same layer. So a good example here is going to be like this. I'm going to make this shorter than it needs to be. We don't even really need this many points, but I'm going to do it so that I have the leeway if I need to make those bend, animate, or anything. So we're just going to peak the bottoms. That's hitting Control P, and like so. Then because auto weld, it says it's on, I'm going to turn it off because I don't really want this to weld. I'm just going to move these down to where they connect, or at least are hidden as well here. And then this particular stripe, we can make, you know, a version of green or whatever we want. Just kind of go in here and say, fill it in, please. And make it more of a yellow, dusty green. Yeah, perfect, right? I don't know if that might be too light, but you know what I mean. And then I can take this entire piece, copy it and paste it over, move it, realign it, etc. I suggest doing that as often as you can when you're working on something, because it's going to save you time. No, it is not cheating. It's called experience. You've done way too much work and over too long a period of time, and eventually you learn how to minimize your pain and suffering. Okay, so this will be like so. See? Brand new stripe. And we can take this and do the same thing. Let's use the shape instead. Copy and paste. We can now move it over. And just slide the points around now. So boom. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, let me know. Got quite a few more viewers today than some days. That's good news. All right. And I will worry about this shortly, but I think this is working here. Copy that and paste it again. Start from this one. Hopefully, I mean, I realize this is a live stream, so there's not as much straight out information happening, and but I'm trying to just kind of include you guys on this process, and if you have questions you can ask, kind of like a live, you know, session for sure. It is live, so there you go. But I mean, like, you know, it's not quite a class, but this is the presentation. You have the opportunity to say, but why do you do that? So I'm just going to bring this down to where it's going to be hidden behind. Get this out of the way. We can even bring this one here to get that curve back. This can all be hidden behind this foot, probably. You know, it's just going to be another stripe. And I think that's fine there. Cool. It might be too light of a blanket, might be too light of stripes. We'll find out. I'm going to take a little sip of the magic juju juice. When the shadows are in, it will look much better as well. There won't be shadows coming off the stripes, but there will be shadows on the blanket piece, coming off of this blanket piece, and also under the edges of these. Right now it doesn't have a whole lot of dimension. The guy looks pretty good, so we're going to do it in that kind of style, in that particular style. But okay, so here in the saddle, I think that's going to be like, I'm going to leave those blankets. I'm going to change that to blankets so I can tell what that is. I always label your layers. This is going to be, I think, the main saddle shape. So main saddle, it's kind of like a blanket there. I don't know. I think the original color I was thinking was some type of red or white or something, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to do just kind of this shape. This is going to be over the tops of the other blankets we just did. Not a lot of need for a lot of points. This isn't going to be an area that bends a lot. Looks like I missed a stripe. That's fine. I'm just going to complete sort of this front frame of a shape here. Like that. Can go and adjust our curvature on the corner points now. I'm going to go ahead and peak that one for now. If we need a little more roundness, we can always get that back. This one, just so it's not wonking anything. Oops, we did all of them. Undo. And I will just select this one. Control P. That'll help things kind of line up better along curves, straighter, and so on. Nice smoother curves is what I mean. And of course, this one, we'll start with a corner, and then if we need to soften it, we will later. All right, cool. So then again, this shape will need to be a 1.5 stroke just to start with. It may or may not stay there, obviously. And then this is going to be, I think this is going to be some kind of lighter color. It could be straight gray. I think that's fine, because then we'll have a sort of banner kind of pattern thing or something behind that, I think. The only reason why I'm doing any kind of pattern-like thing on this is because this is going to be turning. It's not going to be moving around too much. In a way that's not, more flat to the camera, so I'm not going to worry about the pattern needing to be perfect while it's warping and turning and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Because, to some regard, heck with that stuff. I don't mind doing it, if it needs to be done, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to choose to. Alright, so let's grab, hopefully that's not bad. We will go ahead and connect this, or peak this one, and so on. So now that those are done, we can add a color to this shape. And this one is just going to be a 1.5 also. We could make that one a 1, but I don't see the need. Turn this on, and now I'm thinking some type of green again. Could be this same green here. Might as well. So yeah, this is how far we are. It's looking all right. These little triangles now should be some type of contrasting, maybe lighter shape, even darker. Let's try a darker shape for this. I keep wanting to go lighter and I don't know why. So let's just make these straight out like this. We will peak pretty much all corners of it. I think is fine for now. Like I said, if we need to, we can come back with the curvature tool and with all those selected, just sort of round them slightly. I think that works fine, like that. And then I'm just going to grab these, copy and paste, and adjust them as we need as we go. So like that works for me. Copy and paste. These do not need to be as wonky as my sketch, so that's not hurt my feelings. I'm going to just rotate this one slightly. And copy and paste to over here. And we could make that one a little smaller, I guess. I don't know why that one is, but I'm just going to leave them a little more uniform. So what I need to do, I forgot, is fill these in. So I'm going to grab this guy. We're going to leave this at a 1 because it's like a design. It's not really an outline of an object. And these we're going to select the gray or the green here, and then go like a shade darker from that, just so they have a, whoops, that's black. So they have a bit of a difference, but not this much. Let's just reselect the green here and then just kind of knock it down to about here. I think that's not bad. Maybe a little more, maybe a little darker, but not black. Let's just go to there so we have a little nice little contrast. Cool. Okay, so this one will do the same. I'm just gonna turn that on and then paste that in. Should work. No, guess not. We need to copy this one first. There are easier ways of doing this, but this works fine. It's something I've done 1,000 times, so we just make sure this one, and I should have just copied and pasted the first one after I did the color, but you know. Okay, there we go. And then this one will have fill, and fill will be like to be called this number. And there we go. Okay, so now we're going to copy and paste this one in as well and move it down and adjust its points. Very simple stuff. Grab it, copy it, paste it in, move it over, you know, adjust the points here too. Whoops, wrong thing. Undo and undo. You can lock layers, but this one is all on the same layer, so well, actually you can't lock layers in here, I just remembered. Thinking of Procreate. This is not Procreate or Procreate Dreams. Okay, let's go. Copy. And my favorite program to animate in is Moho. If you're watching, I would love a sponsored video or work with you guys in some capacity. But I know the chances of you even seeing this video are kind of slim, so I'll just write to you. Get this one. Whoops, keep doing that. Keep doing that too. There we go. Let's grab the actual thing we're trying to move. There we go. Sponsor a video or something would be really cool. I'm going to grab all 4 of these now by shift selecting them, shift clicking them. Copy, paste, move it down. Now we've got these sort of averaged out, and now we can adjust them one at a time to be in their final resting places or close to. This was copied off of kind of a background of a pattern from a camo blanket, so I'm making it kind of wonky because I want it to feel organic. So I think that works. And for the bell, these not bells, these are tassels. We're gonna go with J-A-S-S-L-E. Don't ask me how I know to spell that. And I'm just gonna come in and make this top part very simple shape. And then go in with my curvature and make sure we peak these guys and turn these more straight. There we go. And I think I'm going to make these kind of a gray, like almost like a silver for now. And then we need to make the bottom part of the, I keep saying the tassel and thinking too many other things. And get this kind of like so. I'm going to make this sort of a rounded top. The reason why I'm putting it down here is because I don't want to accidentally bind those points or weld those points together if I don't want to. Okay, that works. That works. Get this a bit more in. Let's work on our curvature. I'm going to move these up now to be where they're supposed to wind up. As I said before, the final resting place. And see if this isn't going wide enough, just come in and increase the curvature to do that kind of thing. That works. Matter of fact, we can take this and even shift it over a little bit or whatever needs to be done. The sketch is just a guide, so. Alright, so these need to be black. I think they were all black in my original idea. So I'm going to go blackish like this. Yeah, not pure black, but close enough. I might add a couple little groove lines here, kind of coming from here to like, so kind of like a light bulb fixture, kind of has those screw lines, but these are just parallel. And thin those out towards the end a little bit or a lot. And then these here a bit thinner. I think that looks pretty good. If we really need to, well, I guess these are hidden behind. I was going to make this bottom line curved, but I guess we don't need to because this round part comes up in front. So now, I'm not going to worry about shading those. I'm just going to take this, these two bits, and actually this is going to be a layer. I wonder if I should do these all separate layers. Probably not, because these are just going to never turn. So I'm going to copy those and paste those. We're going to move those over to this guy. And evidently my copy and pasting did not go as planned. Let's just make this a little narrower now. Copy and paste this piece. Hopefully that will go as planned. Okay, and that can be made smaller if we want. Alright, so that's fine. Wondering if there's a better way to make this a single object, but copy and paste. Is that going to move everything? Yes, it does. Sometimes it does work out. I'm going to angle this one a little straighter. Might even make it slightly bigger overall. I don't know if it needs to be wider, but maybe the other one's at a weird angle. Make this a little wider toward the top, wider toward the bottom here. I think that is fine. So I'm just going to repeat this for now. Whoops. Copy and paste, does that work? Yeah. I was wondering if I should copy and paste the shapes or the curves, and I did the curves. So same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste these around until they make sense. In fact, the ones at the ends, if you want, we can angle the top a little out and then, even take the bottom section and move it around just so it feels a little more, flowy or whatever. And we can take this portion here maybe and push it to the right just so it has more of a little bit of a bend in it, maybe like that. Cool. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a lot more on the bottom, but we can duplicate this row and adjust them, which is how you're going to get through doing stuff the fastest. I'm going to take each one of these and readjust its position. So this is a T. I do so much stuff with so many programs that I forget which program I'm in. So of course I forget which shortcuts work in what programs. So I have to double check all the time. I just checked and was like, what is the grab tool in here? It's transform. So I hit T and now I can move. Same thing with the next. This is going to be the select, which is G. So that is the grab tool here. So if I do G, now I can select just the points I want, and of course deselect. Well, that didn't work. Not sure what I did here. What did I do? I want to... Oh, I selected the sketch. So we're going to grab the tassel here. Never grab the tassel. That's what they always say. It could cause you some problems. Okay, so with that now, we're going to grab this and this portion and try to pull... Come on now. Try to pull these in a better direction. Also, I'm noticing these should really be toward the back. So let's grab the layer here like we had it. We're going to move it, pull it sort of down or up, however it makes sense to go. And like I say, these really, oh boy, that's a graphics error is what that is. If your screen goes pink, that's Moho doing its really weird thing. So I'm going to grab this one. Matter of fact, let's grab this and this. We're going to take those at the draw mode and lower to back. And we're going to take this now and draw lower to back. Oop, not that. We need the actual shape like this. It was trying to lower the line here, which we didn't really want. For some reason, it's still doing something weird with that. So I think I'm going to try to go draw, lower to back again. And this one's going to be draw, raise to front. Yeah, so I wanted to put that behind that one. This one can now be draw, raise to front. So it doesn't matter which one's in front of the other as long as they're in front. Like this one really should be pushed to the back. So we're going to go lower to back on that guy. We also need that line, so we're going to go lower to back, and it should push. Nope, not that one. Weird how this one's acting. So we're going to take this one and raise to front on that piece. So it should put it in front of that, like so. This one will also be raised to front. Cool. All right, this will be raised to front. This one too. Just do these here. And the order you do this in does make a huge difference. What's going to wind up in front of what. So we'll do this last one, and everything looks good there so far. Normally I might make these red or something, but I don't think they're going to work. That's going to work very well for this kind of scenario. Color palette, whatnot, you know. Let's go back to this main saddle. I want to get that point back here to where it's not overlapping off the blanket weird like that. All right, so back on the tassels, let's go ahead and select. Let me see what paste would do. Was it going to give me another one? And it is, which is what I wanted. So we're just going to put these here. And I want to put all these to the back. So we're going to go draw. We're going to grab this, draw. Nope, not working. We're going to have to select these kind of individually, I think. So not what I wanted to do, but let's grab every one of these and do a lower to back. See if that works for everything. It works for this one. I think I'm going to take this one, however, and push it to the side just to get this a lot more where I think it should be. Let's grab the points instead because it's being finicky. And the points of this. Now we can move all this to the side because I don't want it floating out there on its own. That's fine. Let's find out about the draw order here. This needs to be pushed back, so lower to back. And the outside line, for whatever reason, isn't doing that. So we're going to go raise to front on this one again. That'll take care of that, and then this one will be raised to front, as will these. Okay, if anybody's got any questions or comments, please let me know. Got no comments yet, but we do have some viewers and some views, so that's good. All right, so we need one more, or two more rows of these guys. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 7. And these are a little bit copycat of the last setup, so I'll go back in and rearrange some of these so they look a little more random. Oops, we need the whole thing. And we're going to copy and paste that one. These will be nice because they've kind of got their arrangement as far as what layers in front of what already. So with these, though, they're going to have to be made larger, etc. So these are going to get a little more of a adjustment than the other ones did. So something like that, and then I'll try to get these curves not so wacky. Right here. Even these can be a little bit bigger. Let's get this guy kind of up here. Here, and we'll adjust this one. Okay, that works for him. Excuse me. These will be made longer above as well. That can be fine if we rotate it just a little bit, like that. And this will move into here. And of course, adjust all the points. I'll have to go back and work on the curvature of those areas. Just get these a little less bulgy. Alright, this one can be copied and pasted, or the first one, it doesn't matter. Move it over. Lean it, drag it, bop it, twist it. Okay, same thing here. Okay. They don't need to perfectly match the sketch because the sketch is kind of quick. So there's no precision to worry about there. I'm just trying to get these from not being mega bulgy. They're not like Russian doll, you know, things or whatever. It's kind of what they reminded me of. The nesting dolls. I'm just going to grab the 4 of these, pull them down. If you're wondering how I'm doing that, there is a little checkbox when you go to select right here called lasso mode. So just turn that on and you can use your lasso to surround points. Be quicker about selecting them, in my opinion. Curves here, we can lessen. I learned my lesson by lessening my curves. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this one because it's just a lot more points to mess with. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this guy. Looks like we lost our little thread lines from the tops of these, but we can go back and put them in if we want, or not, because they're not super important. Just going to pull these around to be more correct. If they're a little wonky, even better, because that randomness makes them more unique. Get this more here, and it's kind of shifted. Okay, and then we'll duplicate, let's say, this one again, just so they seem a bit more random, not exactly same next to each other. And I can just start adjusting points again. I am adjusting the points. Okay. Cool. So that's that row. You can kind of see how this is working. These really should be kind of thrown up under the others. Let's go ahead and select this and this. Go like this to start with. I think we can extend this one out. This is going to wind up in the back, so we'll just drop it to back, or raise, probably just raise this one to front. It's going to be easier on it. This, same here. Then we can adjust the bottoms of these however we need. This one also needs it to be drug over to the side. This is just floating in the air again. Something like that. Any of these that aren't long enough, partly I don't mind because, I mean, they're relatively random, but it's not going to hurt to make it a little more similar to the thing, I suppose. Okay, so with that, this one's pretty off. But it is correct. Let's get that back because I did not select the lines here. There we go. And if we wanted it longer, we could have it. Don't really need it though. But watch me do it a little bit. There we go. They feel more random when I do that. So I'm going to grab, well, probably pretty much all of those. Let me let Moho catch up before it crashes and kills my entire project. While we're waiting for it to save, if you have anything to say, go for it. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so I'm just going to grab all of these now that I think about it. So I'm in lasso mode to be able to do this for selection. Looks like I missed one, so I'm just going to shift click this line and shift click this line. And we're going to copy and paste, move it all down. And I really wish it would just let me move the entire selection down, or in the back, but it won't. So what I'll have to do, which is real easy, is just come in here. I don't think you can do two at the same time, but you go draw and raise to front. So it only works on one at a time. So draw, raise to front. So get those in front of those little silver bits. So that's how they should be. And then I'll go and just take some of these off because I don't know for a fact those need to be that high, so that one's alright. I'm going to fix the bottom here just by grabbing this and moving them up. Okay. Not going to worry about the one on the other side because it's literally one. And then this one will be drawn in front, as is this one. And this one you thought I forgot. And the rest of them. Now if anything looks too duplicated, you know, I can always go back and move those back. And pull that one down, that way, you know, that shows a little, and it looks a little more like it's behind it, not just hidden. I think that works for me for the moment. This is obviously without any shadows or any color variation or anything like that going on. That's the tassels, so all of those, boop, boop. The main saddle, I'm going to go ahead and save just to be sure. And then on this main saddle now, there's going to be another little piece that's going to be, I'm just going to do this off of where it goes so I don't have any interference and welding I don't want. And I'm just going to kind of go like this. This is not a bendy piece, so I'm not horribly worried about resolution of points. I'm just going to make sure these are spiked or peaked. Then I can take them without auto weld on so I don't snap these and do something wonky. I'm just going to pull these kind of close. They don't have to be perfect because it's going to be another piece. It's going to be hidden behind the one in the front. And then I can take any of that. Make sure I fill this in, probably with the gray, but a lighter gray. Where is my color selection? Oh, I have to turn it on first. There. And we're going to take that gray, maybe go with a little bit lighter gray because it's the one it's being hit by the sun there. Fill that in, and then we're going to need some little, I don't know if there's his school books or what this is in the back, but we also need another stripe there. So I'm going to go back to that blanket real quick and just copy this stripe. Paste it over, move it to where we're going to have that stripe kind of, because it looked like there was this big expanse, you know, of nothing there. Just see if that will work. I think everything's hidden good or hidden well. Works for me. Okay, we just need these little things in the back, this little tassel here, a few detail lines, and then these two little pegs. Then I can go through and do the shading. So on the main saddle, we're still going to be here. I'm just going to add the points here. I'm not going to have them weld to this piece, though. Just going to kind of come up here like that for now. Going to adjust the curvature of this one. A more rounded top to that. Obviously that's a little much. Okay. And then this will get that kind of light gray, I think, thrown in there as well. And we're going to just duplicate this little shape, not the layer. And then this one can be drawn behind the other one. So we'll just go draw lower to back. And we'll change its size and direction and all that good stuff. Okay, like so. This might also go to the back. Let's just do it. So lower, we have to take it to the back probably. So lower to back, then we'll raise it up one. so it comes up in front of this guy still. Because otherwise we'd have to get it behind and in front of all this stuff, and to heck with that. Alright, and then this guy, I'm just going to do like a box that can sit behind. In fact, we are going to take certain points. I'm going to peek these two because they're hidden. That keeps these lines straighter. Then we can adjust the points or the curvature of these. Like that. Same here. And that should be okay for this one. I don't even know what those boxes are, but maybe they're, you know, books or something important, you know, wrapped up and put like luggage. So we'll just add a little color like that, and then we'll duplicate that or copy and paste it. And now I can move it in front of the other one, still behind the other main shape. So that's going to have to happen now. So this will move this one, the one in front. We're going to move it to the back first. The reason being, it'll be behind everything. And then when we move this one behind everything, it will be behind everything. So if we did that in any other order, it would not have worked. We'd be sifting through which is in the back, which is in the front. Way too much. So let's just go ahead and get this little, that's still on the main thing, so I can go ahead and do that here. I mean, we could make it anywhere, but so let's just do it here. It's going to kind of be our little dingabob there thing. Looks good. And then we'll just make some little feathers or hair or whatever this is coming out of it. Something like this. Works for me. And I'm going to sharpen that tip of that down here, as well as this one, and then this one too. We don't exactly know what it's made out of. Probably camel hair, which is going to make that camel feel really good. And weld this. I'm going to turn on the auto weld and get this to snap to the other one. Okay, and then we could start changing the width of these a bit. Those are inner ones, so. And then adding the center to this, probably in some type of a light brown, maybe. Fill. Just do this kind of in a. I'm going to steal the camel color, and then I'm going to shift over to something, you know, like that. If we want to, we can go back to the body. Maybe throw in one line there, but I don't think so. And then we can also get rid of this line, or at least partially, you know, hide that little bit. I think that looks better. In fact, we could also do like I had actually planned. Imagine that, and curve that out. Get this one in a better spot. We can even flatten this one with the Control M. Control M, I think that will work. More natural looking curve. And then on the neck, we have just these little quick lines here that I can chuck in there. Looks like there is another possible thing here as well. So let's see. What does the body say? Yeah, that'd be fine. So on the neck, we can take this one, copy it, paste it, turn it, throw it down here, maybe even flip it all the way around. We're going to lengthen this out. This will be the other like strap of the neck for the blanket or the, you know, the saddle stuff. Very technical phrase there, technical terms. There we go, that's fine for me. And if we wanted to, we could throw these little few wrinkle lines on the neck too. That one didn't quite connect, so let's undo that and do it from here, here. Don't even have to have as many, which I think is better. Maybe one here. All right, that's fine for the moment. And that is, without shading, the full dude. I think that works pretty well. Cool. I think that's the end of my live stream for the day. Going to be doing some more work. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, and all the stuff. And we'll be back with more later.